It's December 2nd, 2024, and time for your Monday market update. Let's take a quick look at your McHenry County numbers for the last 7 days in our area. We had 97 new listings hit the market, 82 under contract, 102 closed sales, 27 price changes, 8 expireds, and 28 currently on the private network. So we are seeing normal seasonality right now with decreasing inventory. Prices are holding steady, although buyers have more leverage now than they do in the spring market. So if you are a buyer and you have a home to sell, now is a better time to have a home sale contingency accepted than it will be in the spring. We are still seeing hot neighborhoods selling with multiple offers. So downtown Crystal Lake, the Gates, some neighborhoods in Huntley like Talamore or Del Webb, some of those areas are still going to be selling with multiple offers, but we are seeing market time increase, and we are seeing more and more price reductions this time of year. According to Housing Wire, in an average year, about 1/3 of homes experience a price cut, which is typical for the housing market. When mortgage rates increase, the percentage of homes reducing their prices tends to increase, which we've seen this fall. We are seeing about 40% of properties currently listed having had to do a price reduction. And that is, again, because interest rates went up. So this market is reminding me of something that I heard when I was raising my kids. My sister-in-law told me once, just when you've got them figured out, they change, meaning kids. I'm having to remember that right now with the housing market, because just when I think I've got it figured out, it changes. The market is constantly changing, and that is something that you need to keep in mind, that we all need to keep in mind. It's almost impossible to predict, and it's almost impossible to time. So everybody wants to buy low and sell high, obviously, but that's almost impossible to figure out how to do that. Those that do, it's probably just luck. It's not that they had some sort of intuition. My husband bought all of his investment properties in 2012. Turns out that was the bottom of the market. Did he know that? No, but it turned out to be great timing. My father started a radio business in 1990. That was a great time for radio. He sold in 2001. Did he know that MP3 players were coming out? No, he didn't know that. It just was great timing. So sometimes people are lucky enough to have that. Now, both my husband and my father are very smart men, but timing is everything. So if you're trying to time the market with spring or fall or winter or whatever, it's almost impossible. When the right piece of property for you hits the market, you need to buy it. It's always the right time to buy the right piece of real estate. And the market will, on average, appreciate 4%. We know this historically. History always tells us the truth. Trying to predict the future is impossible. I thought this quarter, the fourth quarter, was going to be great because we thought the federal government was going to lower the prime rate, which they did. And I thought, because I was listening to all of these economists who kept saying that mortgage rates were going to come down, and mortgage rates didn't come down, they went up. Why? Because inflation went up. So when the federal government lowers the prime rate, that's short-term loans. That's not the mortgage rates. They don't have control over the mortgage rates. I've heard some people saying, the new administration is going to make mortgage rates go down. Don't you think mortgage rates are going to go down because of the new administration? I'm not saying whether you should like the new administration or not. All I'm saying is they don't control it. So therefore, we don't know if mortgage rates are going to come down this spring. Most people that I'm talking to at this point say they don't think they are. They're certainly never going to hit 4% again. They might not ever hit 5% again, certainly not in the near future. So mortgage rates right now are at about 7%, 6.99. That's pretty good. So it's historically low. Historical average is 8%. When I start talking mortgages with most people, when I start talking mortgage rates, especially people who are a little bit older than me, they say, I bought my first house, it was 18% interest rate. So they say, 7% isn't that bad. The reason that affordability is a problem is because the prices went up so rapidly, which again, they actually are not that high above the average curve for appreciation, for 4% annual appreciation, because they were so low for so long. The prices were too low for too long, and interest rates were too low for too long. So it feels so expensive. And it is because also income did not go up at the same rate that prices did. So that's why it feels so tight, and it will for a while. But it will slowly get better, but this is going to be slow. 2025 is not going to be some miraculous year where all of a sudden we have enough homes to sell and interest rates are 3% and everyone's going to run out and buy a home. That's not going to happen. That's when we had inflation. Inflation went out of control when we had prices skyrocketing because everybody was running out buying a home. That's what caused the situation that we're in. So my advice would be stick to the plan. If it's the right time to buy a house. If it's not, don't. Don't just buy a house because you think that you're making some brilliant financial investment. Now, if you have extra money, real estate is a safe place to put your money because historically speaking, it has always appreciated at 4%. So, in fact, if you look at, we just got our November numbers out from the MLS, from MRED. And for our area, the average sales price in November in Crystal Lake was $398,000. That is up 7% year over year. So 7% your money grew if you bought a house this time last year. And this time last year, you probably thought you were paying an extremely crazy amount for the house that you're in. But now you realize, wow, I just made 7% on my investment. So you have to look at it as a long game. If you're going to buy a house right now and you're planning to sell it in a year, you're not going to make any money. Don't do that. But if you're going to hold on to a home for 5 to 10 years, it is a great investment. You will make money on your home if you own it for a substantial amount of time, 5 to 10 years minimum, and if you maintain it and make improvements. It is a good investment always if you do those two things. If you don't take care of your home, you're not doing your money justice. But if you do those two things, you will make money on your home. In Huntley, the average sales price is now $400,803. That's up 8.9% year over year. In Lake in the Hills, your average sales price is now $340,000. That's up 4.6%. In Algonquin, it's $410,000 is the average sales price. That's up 9.3%. Now, Huntley and Algonquin, that's because they have more new builds. So they're having more and more new builds. They also have more inventory. In Huntley, they have 2.1 months inventory. That's up 61%. Again, that's because you have a lot of builders out there building, which is a good thing. We need more homes. In Algonquin, they're up. The inventory is up 15% year over year to 1.5 months inventory. And again, that's because they're building in Algonquin. In Crystal Lake, our month supply is up 25% to 1.5 months. So again, we're making some headway in the inventory department, but it's not enough still. So it's going to be slow. 1.5 months inventory in Crystal Lake is still extremely low. A fair and balanced market is between 4 and 6 months inventory. Under 4 months is a seller's market. Over 6 months is a buyer's market. So we're still in a seller's market, and we probably will be for quite some time, but we're making some improvement. This is going to be a slow go. So who's going to be moving in this market? Well, not you that's locked in at 2%. You have no reason to move. No, you're not going to move. But if the interest rates were 2% tomorrow, would you move? Probably not. I'm locked in at 2.175 with a 15-year mortgage. Am I moving? No. But guess what? I wouldn't move anyway. So it doesn't really matter. People refinance because of mortgage rates. They don't necessarily move. People move because of life changes. They move because they got a job transfer. They move because they had more babies and they don't fit in their house anymore, or their kids are growing. You know, you have a 6'4" kid, and all of a sudden your tiny little house doesn't work so much anymore. I got plenty of room to spread out here with my giant kids, so it's okay. But if you've got, 4 kids and you had them when they were babies and you're in an 1,100 square foot ranch, you're fine for a while until those kids start to get bigger and you need a bigger house. And some people are making more money than they made when they bought that house, so it's okay. The reason that affordability is so hard is because prices went up rapidly, then interest rates went up, and people's income didn't go up at the same rate that those two things did. So affordability is hard. So some of you are in a very tough situation where you would like to move. I talked to some people last week who would like to get a divorce, but they can't afford to because their mortgage payment is $1,600 a month. And if they were going to go rent 2 separate places, they would spend more than double that on living expenses. That's a tough situation, and I don't have a good solution for that. So there are people that are in a really tough position with housing, and I understand that, and I'm sorry. The message that I have for you is that it's going to be a long road before that gets any easier, but I do believe that it will, and that we will have incomes match the rate of appreciation, but homes will continue to appreciate. So should you decide to buy a home, if you're a first-time home buyer and you save up enough money and you're making enough money to buy a house, you should do that. It is still a good investment. Homes will appreciate at a rate that will return very nicely for you if you own that home for an amount of time and you keep up with that home and you maintain it and you make some improvements to it. You will make some good money on your home. So if you have any questions about this, please call me. I do think that 2025 is going to be a great year for real estate, but every year is a great year for real estate if it's the right time to buy. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your Monday. Happy holidays.